You are not the one that got away. You are the one that God protected. And I need you to get that through your mind. I've had so many situations that I reminisced on with people or men in my past situations and relationships. And I always thought to myself when I see them in new relationships, like, wow, like, I'm really the one that got away. Like, I could have had this if I would have just stuck around a little bit longer, if I would have tolerated the disrespect. Until I realized that actually, no, God was protecting me from something that I just did not need to have. You have to understand that certain things are not for you. Stop fighting for things that are not for you. Stop putting up fake competition in your head against the next female, the next person, when it's just not for you. We compare ourselves to the woman that the man has now that is from our past. For what? They're not for us. It doesn't even matter if they're treating them the best way they could treat anybody. They didn't treat us like that, so why are we comparing and why are we competing? We have to get that through our minds, because I used to do this all the time. I used to look at people from my past, compare what they have now, and look like, wow, I could have had all that. I could have been with them if I would have just stuck around for a little bit longer. No, if you would have stuck around for a little bit longer, you would have been miserable. Let it go and understand that the rejection they gave you is not something to reminisce on. A lot of the times, we'll reminisce on somebody because they're absent in our life, and all the time their absence, we'll try to create love stories about how things were, when in reality, that situation was not something to reminisce on. It wasn't some love story. It wasn't some fairy tale that we like to think it was in our head. It actually was just a bunch of rejection, misery, and heartache throughout the whole situation. Stop romanticizing your rejection. Stop replaying it in your head and move on. It's time to move on. When you don't move on, it brings you back so much in life. I've had so many situations where I stuck on and held on to people in situations when I could have been elevating and growing. I could have got the man of my dreams if I would have just stopped holding on to the men of my past who were just not for me. And sometimes we don't need an explanation as to why. Sometimes we just gotta know that God is protecting us from something, and we don't have to find out what it is. We just know that they're just not for us. There's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, you can sit down with yourself and see what you need to work on for yourself, but don't be hard on yourself and make it seem like it's something you did wrong. You're the reason why they're not with you or something like that. No, move on with your life. They're with the next person. They moved on, so it's time for you to move on. Not even moving on to the next person. Move on to the next situation in life. Elevate and grow. Change up if you want to change up, but really let it go and grow and elevate. It's time for you to move on in life. If you keep holding on to things of your past, you'll be stuck in that same mindset, and you'll still be the same person you were when you were dealing with that person. And a lot of times when you were dealing with that person in that situation, you were insecure, you were sad, you were depressed. Do you really want that feeling again? And you know something else I noticed? Every time I let somebody back in from my past after they already left my life, it would always end in something worse. They would always do the exact same thing they did to me in the past, just in a different form. People don't change that much. It's not that much change someone could do for them to just become a whole new, better person. Let that fantasy go in your head of who you want them to be and accept that their reality. Let your fantasy meet their reality and understand that no, that's not what it is. That's not even what it was. It was not some romantic fairy tale. It was probably actually trash, and that is okay. Understand and recognize that that's not something to be reminiscing over. You're wasting your time reminiscing over something that was in the past, that's not for you anymore, when you could be moving on with your life. Move on to the next thing. Focus on that business you have for yourself. Focus on getting yourself together. Focus on that hairstyle you want. Focus on that makeup routine you want to learn. All those things you could be focusing on. Instead, you're focusing on something that happened in your past when you were young, when you were just not loving yourself, or something that just happened that wasn't for you now to have now. Stop worrying about what they're doing. Stop worrying about who they're dating. It's over. It's okay. Move on. Next. Because God has better for you. God's not going to let you get rid of something that He doesn't have better to replace it with. He has much better. Whether that better comes in the form of success, whether that better comes in the form of self-love, it doesn't even have to come in the form of a person. The better could just come in the form of a feeling. Stop looking for your happiness in other people and stop reminiscing over something of your past that you outgrew. A lot of times you'll look up and realize that you're not even the same person you were when you were in that situation. So why do you think that having that situation again will bring you happiness when it really won't? Stop telling yourself that if you would have did that situation a little bit different, maybe it could have worked out. No, because you know why? Everything is in God's hands. It didn't work out because God just didn't want that for you. And I had to learn this so many times. I've let people back in my life constantly, over and over again, until I realized that they just were not supposed to be there from the start. And the reason why God didn't let it work out in the beginning was because he knew that he didn't want that for me. When you keep going against what he wants for you, it's just going to end in chaos and trouble and triumph. I almost lost my life because I was going back to people that were not for me in the first place. Stop looking back. You're walking forward. You can't walk forward and look back at the same time. You can't drive and look back at the same time. It's not going to work. You have to keep looking forward. You can look back a little, but you have to keep going forward. You don't go back. You don't drive. You're not going to drive in reverse unless you're backing up. And do you want to back up in life? No. Keep going forward. Keep elevating. Keep striving for better, because there's better in store for you. You just have to let those blessings come your way. Stop focusing on the past and what could have been, because it wasn't. The reality is it could have been, but it wasn't. So now what? Now on to the next, moving on with your life. You're holding up your life by keeping headspace for people and things of your past that don't care about you. I was holding on to people from my past that didn't even care about me. When I was dealing with them, and after the fact, they definitely didn't care. So why are you holding on to that? Move on with your life, because you got a lot of life to live. And you got a lot of blessings to get. You have so many different versions of you to even become. Why do you think God would have you holding on to something that happened in your past when you weren't even who you are today? Let that go. That's just a phase of your life. Life is about lessons and phases. That was just a lesson you had to learn. You learned your lesson. Move on. It's time to pack it up, sis. Stop holding on to that thing that happened 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, it might have been hard. Yeah, that might have been the love of your life. That might have been your best friend. Cool. It's over now. I had to learn that with friendships. I had to learn that with relationships. I had to learn that the hard way. Let it go. God's going to send you more people, more experiences. You have so much more to live, so much more to experience in life. Why holding on to something that happened when you were miserable in that situation? I'm just going to remind you, that situation, you were not happy in it. You were miserable in it. So accept the new blessings and understand that you're going to get better. A lot of times we're just so comfortable and used to being sad that we want to hold on to that feeling. And we think that that's what it's supposed to be. No, you're not supposed to be sad. This is not your sad era. This is your happy era. So let's go. Pack it up and let's go. Let's walk towards our blessings. Okay? So I hope that video helped you. Anybody that needs to hear it, do not romanticize your past rejections. I'm just here to let you know that you did not do anything wrong. That was not somebody that was meant for you. That wasn't your love story that you just missed out on. No, you were blessed and God protected you from that situation. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.